So, I am going to start talking about the truth, like I always do. And, what is really happening and what like disclosure really is. Because, disclosure isn't even, the just disclosing of UFOs and advanced technology. It's actually the disclosure of the nature of reality and how reality works, because the government definitely knows that, and the CIA, they've done their studies in all of the paranormal phenomena, Gateway Project, just gathering intelligence on where the soul goes and where it comes from, and so they know what's really going on, but they're never gonna release that, because that would diminish their authority. It would collapse the system, which is actually what's happening anyway. Is the system is collapsing, and they're not going to show you that on TV and stuff, but because there would be obviously a mass panic, but it wouldn't even matter right now, because it's so bad that like people knowing what's really happening with like the fall of the West. It's actually pretty clear right now, but the people that won't see that are people that support Donald Trump and the MAGA movement, which is basically, it's a polarization of what the woke movement is. So it's just an extreme polarization of what is polarity, and it actually is, Donald Trump is a rich plutocratic oligarch that is a narcissist, and he has been, pictures of him were with Jeffrey Epstein, and so he does to all the MAGA people and all the Christian Zionists, you know what I'm saying, he is saved by God, so he was put in a divine position, that's what the MAGA Christian Zionist people believe, which is a strong belief. But is that actually the truth? Because Donald Trump does use different tactics, like and I've learned this through learning about narcissists, and that's why the Illuminati, I wrote the books that they've written so people are able to identify the narcissist, the psychopath, rich oligarch, plutocrat billionaires, which are our enemy, which don't have the best interests of the people, which are like a continuation of the optimates in Rome, because there were the optimates and the populars, and the patricians and the plebeians, which is exactly what's going on right now, because this is just modern Rome. And Donald Trump is actually, they wrote a book about Donald Trump being the new Caesar, and how he is a rich plutocrat oligarch that is kind of pandering to the people. So he's turned the Republican Party into what are called the populars now, because they're popular with the people, and specifically the Christian MAGA movement, which is just a polarization of the woke movement, which right now the woke movement is starting to push back, and Bernie Sanders and AOC are they're starting to come up, and they're gonna try to start a movement, but it's really not going to go anywhere, because just like all the other movements of the past, the Black Lives Matter, all the other things don't go anywhere, because what the foundation of the movement is not illumination, and that is going to be the one thing that is going to be the stake in the heart to the rich plutocrat oligarchs, and meritocracy, and 100% inheritance tax, because that takes away the money from the elite, and so we can start getting the Star Trek government going, because democracy is completely corrupt. Both sides are corrupt. They both are part of the old world order, because that's what a democracy is, part of the the three body problem of the old world order, which is politics, religion, and the economics. So Donald Trump is a face of the old world order, because he would not want an 100% inheritance tax, because all the rich billionaires, they're actually the only people that should be opposing 100% inheritance tax, because none of us have anything to pass down. They own everything, and they know that if they pass it down, they'll continue their power. So the Illuminati, through meritocracy, which they are govern themselves under, have come up with this solution to the problem of the three body problem. Democracy, which the answer to that is meritocracy. Politics, which is democracy is a meritocracy. Economics, which free market Zionist capitalism into social national capitalism. And religion, from Abrahamic religions to illumination, which says that anyone can become God. So we can regain our divinity, because we've been separated from it with the religions and the politics and the economics. So what is like I wrote an article to the Illuminati, and then they responded to it in the Armageddon conspiracy, and I'm just going to talk about like some notes about what they talked about in the article, because they're explaining what is happening. Past all the media, past all the polarity, they're definitely on the outside looking in, because they are an advanced civilization that is waiting for the right time to come out, which is going to be when the fall happens, and it is acknowledged and accepted by consciousness of humanity. But you have to take the red pill, and you have to have the courage to see how deep the rabbit hole goes, because the truth is coming, and it's how much the more you know, the better. So the civilizational decline, they talked about civilizational decline, which is what is happening right now. Even though it looks like the Donald Trump and the Republican, they're going to make it look like America is becoming great again, and they're going to be they are doing things that are good, addressing executive orders for different things, but it is for an agenda, and that is actually not for the greater benefit of the people, which is new technology being released, new religions being, or new religion, which is illumination. And because what they're doing right now with bringing the Christian Zionists, the Christian Reich, what they say back, is they're restoring religion back in America, but basically they're bringing Christianity back into America. And I actually cannot stand Christianity, because through studying all of the Illuminati's work, I understand. You know what I'm saying? I definitely am not going to go into that, but everything is connected. And I will just say that the religions of the book in the future are not there. People in the future are not worshiping holy books. So it's definitely time to even though this is the bottom, you know what I'm saying? Empowering yourself and self-empowerment is the hardest thing to do in the world right now, because they want people dependent on the system, and they don't. But they want to cut people off from the source, so people are dependent on the system, and that is changing right now. So civilizations follow a biological life cycle: birth, rise, decline, and death. So they're born, they rise, they decline, and then they die. And all the civilizations of the past have done this. It's just recorded in our history, and this is the decline of America because that's actually the best thing that could actually happen to the world right now, because that will be the fall of globalization, because America is Rome, and is oppressive, the freedom and stuff, like, this is not like freedom that we're living in. This is a mass surveillance state, where there's a gap between the rich and the poor, and that the only answer for that is definitely taking the money away from the rich people, and this can be done not violently, through 100% inheritance tax and the implementation of meritocracy. No more democracy. Democracy is done. So, culture is the creative phase. Civilization is ossified and decadent. So, any part of civilization, like culture, is the creative phase, the beginning phase, where it's created. And, I was going to say, the rise, decline, and death, with America, it did. It broke away, it rose, the decline came through, predatory free market Zionist capitalism, and, taking over the world, and, through globalization, being the head of globalization, and, now it's going to die. And, with Donald Trump, taking, getting out of the UN, basically, what a new world order actually looks like is no borders. And it's a Star Trek society where we're all getting along, we're all trading, there is no borders, we all have a common agreement on something, which this is the answer: meritocracy, illumination, and social and national capitalism. This is what the elite know is the answer, and what they don't want people to know. So, civilization is the decadent part of it, where it falls, where it loses power. The Rome and all the civilizations of the past of power that didn't get out of here, that didn't ascend up out of here, are rise and fall instead of ascend. So we actually need to get to an ascending civilization. So this civilization does need to fall in order for that to happen. Civilizations are doomed by fate, following a deterministic path to collapse. So that's not what they through media, through propaganda, which is actually one of the arms. It's actually called the fourth echelon or fourth estate. Because there's the other estate, the other estates: economy, religion, politics, and the media is one control, which isn't even it's not control, even in control of the political parties. It's actually in control of the organization that are the rich billionaires, the 0.1%, and then the directorate is the one that controls everything, which are actually transhuman, like post-humans, that are part of a secret society space program breakaway civilization. That actually just orchestrate all of this, all the movements, they're responsible for it all, anyways. So this is disclosure. Signs of Western decline. Democracy has become the oppressive establishment. That is true. Even though it's disguised right now as it's actually oligarchic plutocracy, which you can even see with the head being Donald Trump, and then heads of state being in there, the technocracy actually being in there in his inauguration. That's that's just proof that there's an oligarchic plutocratic technocracy that is running things right now. So that is definitely not in the best interest of the people. So this is what we have to wake up to, and even the MAGA people need to wake up to this. The woke people, they definitely are awake to this. So that's actually they're politically they're kind of actually more awake to what's going on. But actually that's what the Illuminati talked about is we don't need we need hard left, not a soft woke ass left. Hard left is someone like Franklin D. Roosevelt, I think they said, someone like that. So and the rise of people like Bernie Sanders and AOC. Actually, what AOC is gonna run for president. The Illuminati actually already wrote a whole thing about that, but she's gonna run for president because there's gonna be pushback from what Trump is doing. So don't be surprised if AOC runs for the next next. And then of course Donald Trump's gonna try to keep the power with the rich people. So you're gonna see another rich person come in. And then you might see Ivanka Trump come in, you know what I'm saying, and run for president and stuff like that. Don't be surprised if you see that, because the Illuminati wrote about that too, and Jared Kushner and stuff like that. So know that this is the rerun of the old establishment. So because actually the socialist way is definitely for the people. That's why National Social Capitalism will overtake free market Zionist capitalism, which gives the money to the 1% and keeps the 99% poor, and they keep on widening the gap. As long as free market Zionist capitalism exists, and the world knows this. So all of our enemies that they call enemies, that's another thing we're gonna have to wake up to too, is they're not the enemies. Like they're actually the woke people, the awoken people of the world. And so I am sorry to say this, but it's just the truth really needs to be understood. So the Catholic Church is culturally dead. More about PR than theology. So definitely PR. You got the new Pope in here. I don't even I just saw. I don't even care. I just see right through it all, because all the rest is propaganda. And you see through it all. So all that is culturally dead. And that's people, but the traditionalists will actually believe in it until they die. So they will die out. Like, and then once the people of the old world order die out, that is when something new can come in. Society is living inside a corpse, propped up by inertia. So yeah, it's like society's fucking dead, man. Like it just been, the soul has been sucked out of society, and there's little little pockets of hope and inspiration, like, but it's disguised, and it's not going to end up good. That's why I keep returning back to this, because I am really sorry to say this, but like I have been like enlightened by like Donald Trump and his presence and what he's doing, and seeing through his narcissistic tendencies, and how he's actually not the best person to be in office. I'm not definitely not condoning that Kamala Harris was either, but like they seriously are, they both are the continuation of democracy, which is a hand of the old world order. So we need something to replace that, which is meritocracy, which is the best people are in the best positions. You don't have to have everybody starts from the same position. Not people starting from really close to the starting line. So there's no privilege, and just this is the answer. And if we keep on supporting democracy, if we keep on voting, what I'm saying, for one or side or the other, they're going to keep on using the political system to control us. So the rise of the strong man, populism, e.g. Trump, emerges when people sense the system is hollow. So yeah, the populism, the demagogue, the savior, when people are at their lowest point, they're looking for a savior. You know what I'm saying? They're looking for the rise of the strong man, a strong man to come and save them. Donald Trump, he's a billionaire, strong man. He will stand up for us, but he will actually also make bad decisions. You know what I'm saying? That actually aren't for our best interests, which are actually showing now with his coming out of NATO, all the tariffs and stuff. People are questioning these things, which they should question authority, and they should question the leaders. But you have the polarity in both sides, and then the MAGA people and Christian Zionists will support Donald Trump until they die. So they'll actually try to not be able to reasonably, logically explain what is he's doing. So people are out there lowest, they look for someone to save them, and you got your Caesar, Napoleon, Hitler, Stalin, Trump. It's a cyclical thing. Trump's this is the continuation of these people. You know what I'm saying? Which didn't end up like really good for their people in the end. So history repeats because human psychology is largely unchanging. So part of that is like people not wanting the truth, wanting to live in a lie. But we're waking up from that because the truth is they took everything from us, and they're hiding everything from us and keeping everything from us. And they don't have any plans on giving back what they took from the people. So we have to have a rebellion, and that is seriously, because right now I'm watching Andor, and my soul is just getting ignited because the main character in that, whose name is Cassian Andor, like sounds like my name, Anthony Zender, but I am connecting with that, because it's all about rebellion and the people rising up against oppression, against the empire, which the American empire is an empire, and a rich oligarchic plutocratic empire, and the whole and it's so great because Star Wars is watched by millions of people, and we should actually be using Star Wars as a mythos to be able to enact an actual real rebellion against the oppression, like the governments, the Senate, all of that. It's in Star Wars. Like the Jedi are the Illuminati. The rebellion is real, because the Jedi are the ones that are leading the rebellion. And this has been going on for ages. And, everything I do is for the rebellion. And that's a line that Cassian Andor said. He's like, everything I do is for the rebellion. Because even at the start of the rebellion, it starts small. Like, it's just like a few people. You know what I'm saying? But then that's what the elite are afraid of. You know what I'm saying? Like, they outline everything in Star Wars, because in that they're talking about pockets of rebellion across the system, that can't organize enough to cause actual legitimate threat to the government, to the humanity, to the empire. And so they know that. But the organization of a rebellion, which actually are the Illuminati, who at the time when I discovered were 6,000 strong, because they wrote about that. They said one of the grandmasters, one of the 12 grandmasters actually was interviewed, and they said that they asked them, they're like, how many of you are there? And there are 6,000. Like, obviously that's getting progressively more, which are like 1 in a million. They said we are 1 in a million, 6,000, but it is to oppose the organization's 6,000, because 6,000 people do rule the world. So, and so if you like, when you say you want to be part of the Illuminati, you're like, which I did, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I awoken in 2012, that's all I want. I'm just like, I want to be in the Illuminati, is what I was thinking. And then, had the experiences, UFOs, studying secret societies, mysteries, going through the mysteries, and then, finally coming across the Illuminati. And then, obviously being initiated through all my study and their work, and remembered, obviously, that I've always been through the ages, just like Assassin's Creed, just like they show in Assassin's Creed, the DNA, it's in your heritage. And I actually do have memories of always doing this throughout my lives, fighting against the elite who are keeping the secrets that I'm revealing, and that others are revealing too, for a disclosure and a 100th monkey, of people, of consciousness waking up to the truth, and that reality isn't what we think it is, and then being able to wake up to our divinity, which includes interdimensional travel, which with your mind you can do, because that's what happens when you're dreaming, is you're interdimensionally traveling, and they don't want to admit that, but the CIA obviously did studies on that and stuff, and we need to start talking about that, because that will start collapsing religions and stuff like that. And I'm writing a book right now just called Quantum Leap, about interdimensional travel, and how that's what we are waking up to. and it is like touching the mind of God. There are no words for doing it, but we do it like we're doing it every moment, and we especially do it when we go to sleep in the unconscious, and then just go to different dimensions, go to different timelines, experience different timelines, where we made different decisions, where different things happen. It's the power that we have. They need to start actually acknowledging that. But they actually did through the release. They released the Gateway, 12 million pages of the Gateway, project. So they did declassify the truth. In the Gateway experience, the Gateway tapes, from the Monroe Institute, are a good thing to like tap in. There's 5 of them. So civilizations fall when they fail to respond, lose freedom, and become automatic. So that's very much what's happening right now, because fail to respond is like the control and lose freedom too. We are like losing freedom as long as the rich plutocratic rich class exists. We're going to lose freedom because they're going to keep going with the technocratic oligarchy and surveillance state, Big Brother. But it's good though, because of what I'm involved in. I know that there's going to be a time where Big Brother is brought down, because the rebellion is actually like it's already actually done, and there is high value targets being captured, people being brought in behind the scenes, and they're not talking about that either. So, and become automatic, with AI and stuff, we want technology to free us and liberate us and not enslave us, which people are being enslaved. The more massive people are being enslaved than freed by the technology right now, because, they're always on their phones and stuff, and you spend a lot of time on it. So, the elites know that. And, but they disguise it. They disguise what they're doing. So, yeah, I talked about that. The role of the individual in history. So, that's what they were talking about too today was, what are you doing in history to make a difference? Like, when in the future, when they look back at history at this time, because in the future, this will be seen as the fall of America. You know what I'm saying? The decline of the West, the fall of America, the fall of globalization. That's what it is going to be seen by. So, what you did during that time, like whether you were an Ignavi, which is a person who's just like doing the phone thing, doing the job thing, but I'm not saying like having a job, you gotta fucking do what you gotta do to make money. But like, you're either part of the rebellion, or you're not doing shit, or you support the empire, or the old world order, which is the system of control, which is not for our best interest. They may give you a little job here and stuff, and a little money and stuff here. You know what I'm saying? But like, watch Star Wars and you'll see the empire is not a good thing. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, the role of the individual in history. Historical agents versus the Fellaheen. So, they talked about this today because, they're like, what are you doing for the rebellion? Like, what are you doing for the truth? Are you breaking away from systems? Are you realizing political systems are corrupt? Are you, not supporting economic systems that support the rich oligarchs? Are you not supporting, religious systems that create master-slave dialectics and keep people on their knees, condemned to hell and believing in mythos, fairy tales and stuff, so that they will continue to turn their cheek while they're stolen from, and while they continue to get pushed in the dirt and are told that they're all the best things are waiting for them in the next life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is fucking time. You know what I'm saying? To break away from that, because that is inerrancy, biblical inerrancy. That's a circular thing that they're going to keep. They're going to keep people in a loop with, in control with. So you have to break away from the Abrahamic religions. And once you question authority, which the ultimate authority is God on that, you will get all the knowledge and all the guidance and everything that you need to come into gnosis and knowledge of your divinity, and that there is no actual authority that is higher than you. Which is why they've been able to enslave us. It's by using things like Christian national Zionism, Christian nationalism, which is like, continuing to use the Bible and using God to keep people controlled, because they're like, I cannot, even comprehend God, and they keep using that to keep humans enslaved. So without conscious participants, civilization regresses to primitivism. So, unless you're conscious, unless you are like being a master, actively making decisions, finding out the truth, not being part of huge like cults that are, made to take power away from you. That will continue to have us be in primitivism, which is not advancing. Which is actually the religions of the old dusty holy books of the past are actually primitive, like 2,000 years old. That's why they keep the as long as people are subscribed to those books, they will be caught in the past. That's what the Illuminati have talked about, and that's why how we haven't been able to progress, is because we're still confined by those religions. Because there is no actual explaining of the nature of reality, like actual mathematics and science and stuff in those books, because they're mythos books that are based on stories and parables and things that actually can't be proven, that actually have been proven, because they did prove that the Exodus didn't happen. And the Illuminati wrote a whole thing about that too. But you will continue to find people clinging to stories of the past, and then dying, and then finding out that that wasn't the truth, and then being caught in a reincarnational loop. So the power of ideas. Race and environment debunked as casual. Ideas and psychology are the key. So yeah, ideas are the key. Because there is one thing greater than all the armies of the world, and that is an idea whose time has come. And that is what Victor Hugo said. And the idea of your divinity, and that you can become God, and that illumination is the secret religion of the enlightened ones, and that they actually hold the keys and the answers to everything, to changing the whole face of the world. That idea has been throughout the ages has been black and darkened and stuff. Like, they've taken the Illuminati's name and tarnished it. So I and the Illuminati have had to work tirelessly to restore the Pythagorean Illuminati and the Illuminati's name, that they are the heroes and the rebellion that are fighting against the oppressive old world order, that are the religions and the Jewish Brotherhood of Shadows, all of the darkness, and they are the Jedi that are fighting against the Empire, and either you're with us or against us. The role or bad ideas and disordered personalities dominate his story. So yeah, it's very clear that that's what happens, because we wouldn't be enslaved in a parallel reality where there is a meritocracy. I guarantee you, it is like Tomorrowland. It is like Star Trek, and that reality does exist. It is a vibrational frequency that we can connect to. That the government knows. That they know that people are waking up, and that this frequency and this reality is being brought in, because through dialectical evolution, this is what the universe mathematically figures itself out to be for its optimal potential and actualization. So yeah, I've gone over everything. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You need certain things to live and survive, and you need roof, water, food, safety. Shelter. You need a sense of belonging to something. You need a purpose, and there is an extended hierarchy which the Illuminati went over, but this is all stuff that they talked about today in the article that they wrote. So they come out with these articles every week on the Armageddon Conspiracy Patreon, where they're writing out all their books. So what I'm talking about, if it's not vibing with you, or it doesn't feel like the truth, or it feels heretical, or it feels like this is like satanic, which that is what the religions would say, is that it is heretical. Like the politics would say, I don't know what I'm talking about. Economics, would say the same thing. Free market Zionist capitalism, but it's actually the awakening has happened, and the world has had enough, and it's time for the rebellion, and it's time for us to organize, and then bring down the empire, because that is actually what I'm focusing on too. Is because we're working on different projects with the Illuminati, because we're trying to come up with a mythos or something that will go viral and actually clear the Illuminati's name, so people, because if that happened, if people are like, oh, the Illuminati are not the bad guys, like they're the good guys, they are the Jedi, they are the guardians of the Grail, they hold the knowledge, they are the ancient holders of the light, they would be like, well, I'm gonna look into that, and then they would be actually diverted to the real path, and not this divert, because everybody that thinks that the Illuminati are the bad guys are not on the right path. So talking about cults and stuff, it's like cults often manipulate love and belonging, and esteem. So they make you feel self-esteem, make you feel good about yourself. Manipulate love and belonging. You feel love, you feel belong. So anything that operates like this is a cult. And I'm definitely not in any cults. I am a master. I'm a master in training. Not giving my power away to any organizations. The Illuminati are they are guides. And I'm not. I am an Illuminatist, and I realize that I'm not worshiping. I'm embodying God. I'm not giving my power away to God. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. Jesus Christ is Lord. Like, all that stuff. Like, I don't believe that I have to believe that to be saved, because I'm liberating myself through knowledge. In other cults too, like the Illuminati, when they came out with their work, you could definitely start a cult with this work, which someone did, and his name is Morg. And Morg is, he was actually, on A&E, and he is like from Hollywood, and he's got like white hair and white eyebrows, and he did this sword swallowing thing on A&E, and the Illuminati have outed him because he's used all the Illuminati's work and not given him credit for him, and created his own like religious system, just like L. Ron Hubbard did with Scientology and all of that, because even the Illuminati say, if you want to make money, create your own religious system. And the Illuminati, and Morg did that. And he has a channel on YouTube, and he calls his religion Neogenian and Hyperianism, and but he does all of his information is good information, but he takes the credit for it, and it's all actually the Illuminati's information. And he started a whole cult on this, and people are like making little offshoots of it and like saying, I am Neogenian and all this stuff. And so that's just an example of a cult, because they will use the knowledge, they will take away power from you, they'll be doing shady shit in the background that no one hears about, which the politicians and stuff, they do shady shit in the background that no one hears about, and they have campaigns and stuff for keeping that stuff quiet. But some stuff gets out and stuff, and then there's trial held against in Supreme Courts, and then there's money involved, and there's hush stuff, and that's politics for you. So we need to get rid of that shit and fucking replace the whole system. So other cults claim to operate at transcendence level, but rarely embody it. So you can take like what's happening right now with like Republican Party and MAGA, and the transcendence level. If you saw what happened to Trump, the assassination attempt, and the being blessed, saved by God to lead America to prosperity and stuff. You can believe that if you want to believe that. But like once you get into reason and logic, and then you see past that, and then you've done the studying and stuff, you see how crazy that is to believe. But Trump is using that. You know what I'm saying? And for power. And if you weighed it out, what he was doing for the people, or if it was malignant narcissist thing, it would tip the scales that he's doing it more for that, and people would not like, especially MAGA and Christian nationalists are not going to like to hear that, but it is the truth. And I'm talking it out though, because I know, like, I actually used to like Donald Trump, and I used to like be like his dance, and what I'm saying, and the way he's like Mr. What is that, the strong man, and I was like, because you look for that, you look for someone like that to represent you and someone powerful, which is what you fall for though. But then it turns out in the end that they weren't who they were portraying themselves to be. But everybody has a part in the play, and Donald Trump is, he is bringing out the shadow in humanity, very much so because, he is a billionaire plutocrat. Those people do not have the humanities and interest in the best. The Illuminati have written scores of books on it. If those books were, like grimoires, like all magically written up and stuff, people might take them more seriously. But it is ancient knowledge that's preserved from back in the time of 561 BCE. So this is older than the religions, and that's why I'm looking to do what I can to get through to people, and like, which is mission impossible. But with the help of the universe, it is getting through. People are catching on. The spark is igniting, and then once people see that there are more sparks out there, the whole 1,000 light thing, or which George Bush and stuff, they invert everything that really actually should be happening, motherfuckers. But yeah, we will have the lights though, and the Christians are not gonna like this. You know what I'm saying? Like your Sean Ryans and stuff, and all the people that have put their life in having the Christian faith are not gonna like this, and I know they're not. You know what I'm saying? Because renouncing their faith, because understanding that what is behind Christianity is the devil, because there's a whole thing. Because I'm gonna have to explain this to every Christian, because I'm like. I know you believe in God, you know what I'm saying? But I'm telling you that the God you believe in is not God, and they're not going to like that. And I would love to go against Charlie Kirk or Wes Huff or anybody, with my time here, which I'm working towards. Joe Rogan, anybody. I'll talk about this with anybody, but I have awoken to the truth and being a monad, being. I've talked to people in my dreams interdimensionally, because once you have the connection and you talk to other people through your dreams, and because you're connected, like Terrence Howard and stuff had dreams with Terrence Howard, like other enlightened people, you start connected with them, and then having dreams where you're talking with them, so you don't even need to do it like on the actual physical level. So, yeah, don't worship embody. Stop seeking external gods or saviors. Create a round table of gods, equal, free, actualized monads. So, we need to be a round table. There needs to not be just one person, at the head of it, who is the savior, the cult leader, the one person directing the show. Which is what Donald Trump is doing, because you have to kiss his ass to be in his clique. You do. You just have to. That's why I just I don't like what's going on with since I found the Illuminati with with the Republican Party. I don't like that anymore. I don't like Christians anymore, because they think they know the truth and that God is with them. That's why I'm a Gnostic, I'm a Templar. I knew about this in the past too, and I'm just trying to get it out, because that's what the Templars actually did, was guide people to the Holy Land, guide people to heaven, and liberation, which is liberation. So the war of logos versus mythos. Current power is based on emotional manipulation, not rational truth. That's what emotional manipulation comes through mythos. The Christ is my Lord and Savior. All of that comes through emotional control, which they're doing through mythos religions and control. And logos is reasonable and logic, which is what the Vulcans are. Which is what the Star Trek was right when they showed the evolution of humanity. We need to get back to reason and logic. So humanity must embrace logos, reason, consciousness, philosophy to evolve. And so we got to become like Vulcans. And the logos, which is the force, which is, the underlying presence of all things, which is mind, is what we need to connect back with. And so that should definitely cover everything with what's going on, the fall of civilization, how there's a rebellion going on, how the Illuminati are the Jedi, and either you're with us or against us. And either, you're the Fellaheen, the Ignabi, you're sitting in the middle, not doing anything, not part of the polarities, because the polarities right now, you got your MAGA Trumps, you know what I'm saying? Then you got your woke, AOC, Bernie Sanders, then you got your religion, you got your far right religion, your Jordan Petersons, all the religious zealots and stuff, and then you got your left of that, you got your, the polarity, which is atheism, science, all of that, materialistic, physical, empiricism. Then you got your, your dualism, which is what's happening right now. But what we need to do is bring it all together, bring the dualists together, which is what the Illuminati do. Is they unify everything with the grand, unify everything, unify the brain, you know what I'm saying, unify the Cartesian dualism, mind matter or mind body phenomenon, mind matter phenomenon. They have the answers to everything. So once humanity realizes that, we'll be going to the next level. So until then, until next time.